Wonderful.
Hey, Nelly.
All right. I am
Hello.
very excited. Hi, Nelly. We're very excited to have with us Neli Nenkova. Born in Dobrich, Bulgaria in the 1970s, Neli took up art at an early age and earned a bachelor's degree in fine arts and fashion design, as well as an advanced diploma in graphics design in university. She's currently based out of Sudbury and chooses women as the dominant subject of her powerful work in a provocative approach that addresses contemporary issues in society today. Her artworks can be found in public and private collections in France, Bulgaria, Italy, Germany, the US, Japan, Turkey, the Vatican, name drop, Canada, etc. So now the exciting part. So as you mentioned, Neo, Neli's art and design studio will officially be opening in Sudbury at the beginning of May. So for you locals, it's located on John Street near Bell Park, the former site of the Art Gallery of Sudbury. She's already started working in the studio on new artistic projects and paintings inspired by her life in the North. And visitors to the gallery will find the first 11 paintings of a 21 painting project called Dream Women, a passion project that she started a few years ago that will probably take a few more to complete. But the work showcases women of the 21st century and depicts how globalization has made us more similar. So please welcome to the show, everyone, Neli Nenkova.
Hey, Nelly.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much.
So now, before we begin, Neli, I have one question that I need to ask because you are a first-time guest. Please tell us something that we cannot Google about you.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. You said almost everything about me. No, just kidding, but what you can't find, probably people don't know that I often watch sumo tournaments with my husband, who is crazy about sumo.
Sumo tournaments. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is a sport which is not very popular, but maybe because he's very interested in this sumo, and I'm interested in Japanese art and print and everything, the Japanese culture, and it's kind of a very, very good to know more about this culture. And yes, this is one of the things. There are way more. I don't
very interesting.
On internet about me. I try to focus more on my art and my travels because I love traveling. But yes, so thank you so much for inviting me in the show and to share some of my projects, which actually what I want to share that I'm, as you said, I'm a Bulgarian/Canadian visual artist.
Canadian. I like that.
Because I don't want to escape of my my roots,
of course.
But even if I appeared like a Canadian, as soon as I open my mouth and people, okay, it's not from me. Anyway, but I want to say that I'm currently working on several projects, which are, because as I said, I'm doing art and I do graphic design as well, printmaking, but I also do design off and on. Sorry, I work for the movie industry here in Sudbury, in Toronto as well.
What is it again? Could you repeat it? What's the movie?
I said
movie industry.
Movie industry. So I've been working, I work for a different position based on like who hired me. And so the last one which I was working was, for a potential, for a movie who hopefully will be produced soon. And it's a topic hopefully it's going to be produced because the topic, like the screen is amazing, and it's called, I'm not sure that I have to tell because it's a secret now, but before that was working on another movie. I was the first assistant art director, and that movie was released last year and participated in several festivals and even won an award. And you can Google it. As the name is The Protector, and most of the Protector, yes, and the main designs were designed by me, and I'm pretty happy.
Oh, that's amazing.
There's some very cool artwork from that. It's very cool.
And
Protector.
I definitely enjoy working with the different mediums, and sometimes when you're stuck with your canvases, but your paints, and right now, like even today, I'm very close to finish. A few more days. So 2 years ago, I was asked to design a book, like the cover and the actual book of one of the greatest masterpiece of Albanian literature. The book was written in 1930s by one Albanian author. Yes, his name is Terios Pase, and it's a book about life, the meaning of life. And I'm very honored to create the first English edition of that book. Yes, that's a big. Yes, it's a challenge as well, but I'm very glad. And so the book was translated by an English diplomat, and it's we're working in a very small team, but it's hopefully we'll have a very good impact on the, we will bring something incredible on like in the world, because this book is really very good, but it's because it's written only in Albanian, and right now like we will have it in English, so more people will read it, and everybody asks himself, what's the reason of life, what's the meaning of life, and I kind of, in this book you can find at least a little piece of that.
That's amazing. So you have this project called Dream Women, and I see behind you the images, the paintings behind you. Those are the originals, I assume?
Yes, those are originals, and I started several years ago, so far I have 11 paintings, and but a few more has to be created. So the goal is to have 21 pieces, which will represent the woman of the 21st century.
Wow.
Women of the 21st century, and actually this idea came years ago when I came to Canada. I've been living in other countries, but when I moved to this part of the world, I have more and more cultural shocks, and I realized that the globalization changed a lot. The mentality and the other things that, because when you move to a new place, you kind of adopt the new culture, and the first generations keep it, and they try to pass it to the other generation, but it's not necessary that the generation will keep it. So for me, I wanted through this project to show that women, and not only women and men, but I decided to go with women because women in general is like a main subject in my art, so that we're all the same, but at the same time we're different because based on our cultural background. So, and that's the beauty, that we belong to different places, but at the same time we belong to our cultures as well, and that we don't have to lose it. And the idea behind this project is that I try to capture, because 21 pieces are not, there are 195 countries, and that's what I can't do in lifetime. That is a lifetime project. So, but the whole idea, I wanted to capture those type of ethnic groups or ethnic minorities, or even some professions which are not longer exist. For example, let's say I have a bullfighter, a woman is a bullfighter, but because of the animal cruelty right now, something which was a tradition back in Spain, right now, like the woman can practice bullfighting. There another tribe, let's say Miao, it's one of the 56 minority in China, where they wear a big hair of their ancestors, and it's like they kind of keep the tradition. And even people with the red hair, because of the mixture between other people, other marriages, and their study says that after a while they will kind of disappear. So it will take a long time, this project, because before I start every individual painting, I make a big research, and some of them are political. I was inspired by real people, like for example, I don't know if you see some of them, but like here I love document. Sorry,
is that someone from China?
Yeah, so from North China, that's a real. Her name is Parker, and so she escaped North China, from a very difficult conditions. I personally, I also grew up during the communist time, so and then when we talk about rights. I moved to Canada, and then I realized that moment I realized that we're similar and different. I have a friend of mine. We studied together graphic design here in Canada, and she's from St. Lucia. She's from St. Lucia, and once we talked about the women rights, and that we have to fight and things like that. And I will be honest, I'm not a feminist, like in that extent. I don't like anything like in a certain extent.
Right.
I'm a very balanced person. So she said, we have to fight for our rights. And I said, what you talking about, Willis? Right?
What you talking about, Willis? She said, what you talking about, Willis?
Yes. Why? Like, why we have to fight? Like, for me, it was something new, because, I grew up during that time in the communism, like we're supposed to be equal. So for me, I've never struggled with this. Okay, I am lower than the man. So for me, it was something new. And then, people fighting for, and it took me a while to understand, the issue which women have. So, because, Neli, sorry.
Let me ask you something. So, with yours being your projects, or most of your projects being about women and women's rights, are you doing one for the United States or for America, but that's going to include like abortion rights or anything like that? Or because in America, women's rights are being trampled on. I mean, you can't control your body, for medical procedures alone. I mean, so I'm curious, is that something that you're going to tackle?
So definitely, I'm. United States is one of this P. It will be that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure it will be Black women.
Black women, I love it. Even better.
The other things, as I said, I'm not a very opinionated. I have an opinion, but very rarely share it, because imagine 100 people in one room, and that's 100 different opinions. It's opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and I'm not a person who impose myself. And I believe that my tool to change. To change someone, and also that's not my goal to change someone's opinion, but through my art, I use it as a tool.
I was gonna say, it looks like you're sharing your opinion. It's just through art. I see your opinion when I'm looking at these images. I see your opinions. They're in the art.
Yeah, so this is what I like. For example, for Syrian, if you can see them in the photo, is not very good. But when before I started doing this painting, everybody was touched by the war in Syria at that time, and so it's see Aleppo when it's one Asian city full of history and culture, and was like destroyed, completely destroyed. And she, the woman, she represents the mother, she represents the sister and the lover, who is kind of, she lost everything, and she's kind of a ghost behind her the old ruins. So, but also, before I started, I watched a documentary, and it was like, even right now I have a goosebumps. And it was a man who was walking in the ruins in his home, and he was singing a very sad Arabic song, and I read the subtitles was under, and he said, "God, you taught me how to love, but you didn't taught me how to survive when I lost everything." So, everybody have in their lives, moments when we lose people we love, but it's not good to lose those people in that way, in these conditions. And so most of my art are related somehow with today's issues, or the issues which, like, unfortunately, even this project which we talk about women, it's I realized that despite the fact that technologically we are very advanced, and we are getting better and better and better and better, it's like a reverse. We become very much primitive, because I don't understand. For me, it's like I really don't understand how in the 21st century we didn't learn those lessons, which people experienced like 80 years ago. Like, literally, for me, it's like the and I even in a moment, there are moments when I stop watching news, because no matter when you click, I watch Al Jazeera, I watch CNN, I watch CBC, and every sources which I try to follow, there is a conflict, war, and people fighting, and it's too much. You can't
Yeah.
follow everything. And that's the thing. And if you think, what's the reason of all of those things, and it's all about power and fame and power. And
Right.
even in art I can see it, and I don't like that. And probably because I'm not a very pushy person, I'm not a very ambitious, let's say. Because people in general, they know that if they shock us, community and everybody around them, they have the attention.
Right.
Which is, they use this trick in everything. But for me, my main focus is to bring beauty and to bring message to the world through beauty. And I believe, like, coming to Canada, like, I always use woman as not woman. It's not because I don't like men, don't understand me wrong, but I think my strength. My strength is,
That's what
women.
you know women, right? Let me
Right.
real quick. Let me get Gianni. Did you have a question? I just
Yeah.
want to make sure because we're running a little bit short on time.
Yeah, sure.
So,
No,
Gianni,
I kind of wanted to, I guess, pivot and go a little bit deeper and ask, where did your creative journey begin? Yeah, where did your creative journey begin? What made you get into art and inspired to be an artist, essentially?
So what happened is that I started in a really very early age, at the age of 11. And so, as I said, I was, part of during the communist time, when they try to find some good skills which kids have. And my talent was discovered by my art teacher. And then I entered in this art school. And I think at that time, at the age of 13, I knew that I really want to dedicate my life in art, because through art you can say a lot. As you know, before even now, they use art as good or bad things, for propaganda, even if you think,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean,
Yeah.
yes, and later on, because the funniest part, it's not funny, but it's interesting part. When I was 16, because I was interested in art and music, and when I was 16, I started a career as a singer, as a pop and jazz
You're a
singer.
singer?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. I
Yeah,
forgot about that. I forgot about that.
and I won the TV competition similar to Music Idol, but it was a little bit different format. Yeah. So at the time when I was
Wow.
in this high school, art school, and during my studies at university, I studied fine arts and fashion design, and I had this career, and maintaining two of those, but when the time came, because after you won this type of competition, and the industry wants you,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that it's not an easy path to follow. Plus, I didn't want to do things which are against my belief. I mean, it's my principles. Let's say not belief, it's
Principles.
principles.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in a good way, like but for a very short time, I made a name, and it's for
Nice.
a young girl. It's good to walk. Oh, nice. But then
Yeah.
I wasn't a very I'm not that extrovert as it looks like.
Yeah.
It came along that I wanted to focus on my art, but
Love it.
it actually it's a long story. But I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's a really long story.
Awesome.
So I started when like probably 20 plus years ago.
Nice.
I was a greeting cards designer for the biggest greeting card company. So I was at
Oh,
that time
Hallmark?
I was
American greetings?
in
Can't be American
very similar
greetings.
to Bulgarian version
Oh,
of
Bulgarian.
Hallmark.
Oh, your boy.
But what happened is that because at that time, as I said, I was interested in origami and kirigami. Kirigami is, origami is when you fold
Paper.
paper, and
Mm-hmm.
kirigami is when kiri means cut,
Cut
which
the paper.
means those pop up cards. You open it.
Oh,
This is
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
this is
wow,
kirigami.
Natalie.
I have a
Impressive.
quick question for you. So, so we talked about this a bit in the past. AI generated art. We've talked
Ooh.
about it on the show a few times. I actually started creating some of my own stuff. It's actually turned out pretty decent. But I'm curious. Do you think that AI generated art would, in some way, replace true artists?
Artificial. Yeah.
No hesitation.
No. Actually, like it's very interesting. It's funny. It's not funny. Probably it's not the right word, but yeah, but even digital art and as you said, AI art, it's very easy to switch. I mean, to be created, but
Yeah,
at the same
it takes
time,
literally minutes, but there's always flaws in
yeah,
it. Every time I've generated something, there's always minute flaws, and you can see them. But
yes.
I mean, it's going to get better with time, right?
Yeah, but still, when the museums won't disappear, and people want to see real art.
Real art. Mm-hmm.
There is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, to see an art on your screen and to see the art in real are two totally different things. I was
Yeah.
I was in Detroit, and I've seen the art, the murals of Diego Rivera, and I stood there for 2 hours, and it's not such a big room where
Mm-hmm.
he did a kind of he designed the process in the Ford the process of Ford in the Ford manufacturing, and it's like he put not only like the whole process and the whole, but ideology, and like there is so much thoughts behind. I've seen more and more instant things in those type of digital art. Everything is instant, and not that thoughts behind. And that's that's my big worries, because people started living, talking, and they don't think too much. They don't put deep thoughts in. And even in conversation, it's very even hard for me to find people with whom I could have a decent, deep thoughts about life, about different things. Because for me, that's the most valuable things. At the end of the life, you will remember those time spent with people and experience you have. Like I want to create experience more, more memory, memory than money, because money you can earn, and money you can learn very, not very quickly, but you can earn and you can lose money. But memory is something very individual, and those memory are only yours. And it's there is one very beautiful poem by I forgot the name. He said that there is no path. The path is made by walking, by you.
You create the path. I love that.
I love that.
All right.
I love that.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. And I definitely want to. No, I loved listening to you. It's wonderful.
I know.
And I want to thank you so much for joining us. But do you have any last words that you'd like to share with our audience? Maybe something to leave them with. And then can you tell people like how they can reach you and tell them about your gallery and where it is?
Yeah, so currently my studio is in Sudbury in Northern Ontario. It's located in, as Rob said, in the 2220 John Street, and it's I'm still working. It's already done, but I mean the official opening will be on May, the beginning of May.
Love that.
And yes, and people, this is gonna be a spot where people can come and just interact with me. And the other things I just want to share with others, and just to tell you, just be honest with yourself. That's the most important thing, just to be honest with yourself. And that's, and keep smiling, keep shining, and be you. That's the most important.
Sound like the lyrics to a song I know. I love it. Thank you, Neli. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you so much.
Make sure you check out Neli Nenkova. All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye-bye.
It was a pleasure.